For the second straight race in a row, we have had a first-time winner. That's right, the NASCAR Cup Series has started off with 2 first-time winners. I can't remember the last time that happened, but anyways, last week it was Michael McDowell getting his first win in the Daytona 500 in his 358th start. Today it was Christopher Bell for Joe Gibbs Racing getting his first win in his 38th start. Man, I don't think anyone would have guessed that. They would not have guessed that the first 2 races would have been won by first-time winners, and I'm sure they would have not guessed that it would have happened in this fashion. But what a weird and at times stupid race. I mean, so many storylines, so many things to talk about. I mean, where do we start? I guess we could start with a winner, Christopher Bell. His first win, raced for Levine Family Racing all of last year in the 95 car. Had a couple good runs. Texas in the fall is one I remember. He was a top 5 car there. But other than that, he had a very up and down season. The beginning of the year, he was really bad. And then obviously, August, I want to say, they announced that he would take over the 20 car. Eric Jones would be leaving Joe Gibbs Racing, or he would be booted out for Christopher Bell. And so, coming into the season, there were a lot of questions. How good is Bell? Can he perform in the 20 car? How good is he going to be, basically? And in his second start in the Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota, he wins. That's right, he wins. I can't believe it. And another thing that ended today, or another similarity to last week, Denny Hamlin's 2 Daytona 500 win streak was snapped by a first-time winner. This week, Chase Elliott's 4 road course wins in a row was snapped by a first-time winner. Mind-blowing things that are happening this year in NASCAR. But, better race than last summer, that's for sure. Last summer's race was not that great of a race. This was a much better one. But, overall, the race itself, looking at the first 2 stages were mostly calm. There was some really good racing, but it was dominated by Chase Elliott. He led 45 or 50 laps out of the 70. And then the third stage, it was kind of calm for the first 20 or so laps, I guess. And then with about 15 to go, it got crazy and it got stupid. That's right. With about 15 to go, 17, 18 to go, there were reports of rain on the track, and so teams are getting their rain tires ready just in case there's a big storm that comes by. It was a pop-up, and all of a sudden, NASCAR, apparently it's a rule for them to throw the caution if the track gets somewhat wet, and it's a 3.5 mile course, and one little tiny section got wet, and NASCAR said, yeah, let's throw a full course caution. I don't know what you guys feel about that, but I feel like that was a very poor call for a caution. I mean, obviously, the rule is in place so that if it starts pouring down rain on a road course, because road course you have rain tires, so if it starts pouring down rain, then, the field doesn't wreck on the slick tires. They don't slide through the corners and crash each other going high speeds. So I think that's a good rule, but for this instance, I thought it was a horrible call. The only rain that was being reported that was actually making the track somewhat wet was the oval turn 2, and it didn't seem to be affecting drivers. They seemed like they were getting through there fine. They weren't spinning the tires. They weren't spinning out. They weren't wrecking. They weren't losing grip. So it really wasn't even that wet, but NASCAR threw the caution, and it really determined the outcome of this race. Chase Elliott had a 2.5 second lead going into that caution. They had a really good pit stop, and then they had a bad pit stop after the caution, but they had a really good pit stop during green flag pit stops. And, it looked like he was going to have some space between him and Bell because prior to the green flag pit stops, Elliott had passed Bell, but Bell was on older tires. But as the tires wore for Chase Elliott, Bell was able to keep him from about a second to a second and a half within that range. So if Elliott slips up on track or on pit road, Bell would have been right there for the rest of the race. But it was actually Bell who had a bad pit stop under the green flag conditions, and Elliott was able to extend the lead to about 2 to 2.5 seconds, and then the caution came for the rain. I really do think that's just a poor decision by NASCAR. I understand why the rule's in place, so if it does, it just starts pouring down rain or something and cars are slipping and sliding and crashing, to prevent that so the teams can get the wet tires on. But when it's just sprinkling like that, and it's only one turn, and none of the teams took rain tires. That's another thing. If you take rain tires when the track is mostly dry, it is going to shred those tires. We saw that last year at the Charlotte Roval. Ty Dillon, he came in and got slicks while all these guys are on old rain tires that are shredding up, and Ty Dillon was running 3 or 4 seconds faster than all these guys. And there was no need for rain tires here. 99% of the track was dry, and the 1% that was wet was barely wet. I mean, when they came to pit road, Larry McReynolds, who's the crew chief for Fox, he's the guy who was like, here's what I would do here, here's some ideas for here. He was laughing. He was like, why would you take rain tires here? Are you stupid or something? Like, no one was going to take rain tires. It wasn't wet. The track wasn't wet, and there was nothing on the radar. It was a little tiny pop-up storm. So I thought that was a terrible decision by NASCAR, and then it got kind of stupid after that, to be honest with you. For the next 5 laps, it was really stupid. We go into the next restart, about 10 to go, and Martin Truex Jr. spins in turn 1 and takes a couple cars with him. I think the 77 spun, a couple other cars spun, and then we go into, turn 3 or something, that hard right-hander after the turn 1 and the little S's right there. Then we see more cars spinning. We saw Corey LaJoie spin, I think. We saw Tyler Reddick spin and blow an engine or something. It just got really stupid right there. No, Corey LaJoie is the next caution. So then we do that. We go to this next restart. Corey LaJoie spins and wrecks, and it was just a really stupid sequence right there. There was just a lot of ugly, stupid, dumb decisions being made on the track in terms of driving. Elliott dumps LaJoie. I still haven't seen a replay of that. People are saying it, but I didn't see a good replay of it. And then the following restart, we see guys sliding off track, hitting the freaking tire barriers. Kyle Larson, who's having, in my opinion, his best road course run in his career, in the top 5 on fresh tires, slides into the tire barriers and crashes. Yeah. And then Chase Elliott gets spun out by Denny Hamlin when trying to make a crossover move on Brad Keselowski, and that sealed his fate. And I think there was another spin somewhere back there. I want to say Keselowski maybe. Keselowski spun like 6 times today, so I wouldn't be shocked if he spun again. But it wasn't Keselowski because he finished in the top 5 after his stupid day. Kurt Busch and Brad Keselowski finished in the top 5, and they had some of the dumbest days I've ever seen. I'm telling you, this race, it was a decent race, but man, it had its moments where it was absolutely stupid. Let's get into it. I mean, seriously, let's look at these results. Christopher Bell gets his first career win. Good for you, Christopher Bell. His first win in his 38th start on a road course. The last driver to get their first career win on a road course was Chase Elliott in 2018 at Watkins Glen. So yeah, that's really cool for Bell. A really great weekend for Joe Gibbs Racing. If you didn't see on Saturday, Ty Gibbs in his first NASCAR start, not just his Xfinity start, but his first NASCAR start, he gets the win. That's right. He won the race. He won stage 2. He won the race. A great run for him. Joe Gibbs' grandson. A great weekend for them and that family. And then obviously Christopher Bell, a young Joe Gibbs driver, going and winning his first career race for Coach Gibbs. Really cool story all around. Christopher Bell, he won so many races in Xfinity Series. Came so close to winning the championship. And then he comes into Cup. He races for Levine, but they didn't have a great year. They shut their doors. He goes to the 20 and he wins in his second start in the 20. He is locked into the playoffs now. We talked about that with McDowell. Bell is now locked into the playoffs. If he didn't have a win, I bet he would have been somewhere on that bubble, but we don't get to talk about that because he won and he is into the NASCAR playoffs for 2021. Second place, Joey Logano. Joey Logano led for the last 7 or 8 laps, was on old tires, built up a 5-second lead, I think, with about 6 or 7 to go on that last restart. But Christopher Bell, on the fresher tires, was able to hunt him down and pass Joey Logano for the win with about a lap to go. On that last chicane, going into that last chicane, Bell was able to pass him coming to the white flag. And Logano gets a second place finish. Logano, I've never considered him a great road racer, but he's been good the past few road courses. We look at this race, the Charlotte Roval he finished second at last year. Daytona Road Course, I think he got a top 10 last year. So Logano, he's been improving on these road courses, so good for him. Third place, Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin won stage 2, got himself another playoff point. And third place, he was a top 5, top 10 car, I'd say, all day. He led a few laps, so obviously not winning is disappointing for him, but to see his teammate win, I guess that's pretty cool. Fourth place, Kurt Busch. He spun himself out of the lead. You think I'm kidding? This dude going into the little like dog leg kind of area, he hits the curb and he loses all control and spins across the racetrack and drops to like 27th. He goes from first to 27th because he hit a curb and got into the grass. He rallies back for a fourth place finish. What a job by Kurt Busch. Fifth place is Brad Keselowski. I swear he was spinning in the dirt or locking up his front tires about every 5 laps, and he comes up with a 5th place finish. I didn't see that coming. I don't know if you saw that coming. I didn't see that coming. Brad's not a great road racer. I mean, he's had his moments where, Marcos Ambrose battling for the win. But if you told me with about 20 to go that Brad would be competing for a top 10, I would have laughed because he was spinning. He was locking up the brakes, as I said. I would have guessed he would have been out of tires at some point because he locked up the brakes so much. I mean, he was just weird all day, and then he gets a 5th place finish. 6th, Kevin Harvick. I mean, he sucked at the Daytona Road Course last year, so good for him. 7th place, A.J. Allmendinger. A.J. Allmendinger making a start for Colleague Racing. That's a really good run for him. Obviously, we know him. He's a really good road course racer. Had some early troubles. I think he had a flat tire or something. I can't remember exactly. But he rallies back for a top 10. 8th, Michael McDowell, the Daytona 500 winner with back-to-back top 10 finishes in 2021. Underrated road racer. He was in a little bit of trouble lap 1, went a little bit wide, made some contact with someone, blew a tire, and he was able to rally up into 8th place. Really good day for him. Ryan Preece with back-to-back top 10 finishes in 2021. As I said, this is an open car. This car was not locked into the Daytona 500. If there were more than 40 entries here, I don't think he would have been locked into this race. But 2 top 10 finishes for him. Last week is 6th at the Daytona 500. This week at 9th at the Daytona Road Course. 10th, Alex Bowman. He was kind of irrelevant all day, so a 10th place finish, good for him. 11th, Chris Buescher. He got a top 5 at the Daytona Road Course last year. Follows it up with an 11th place finish. 12th, Martin Truex Jr. rallies from a spin late in the race to finish 12th. 13th, Cole Custer. 14th, Eric Jones. He had problems early. He rallied back. 15th, Ryan Blaney. Surprisingly irrelevant today. I mean, he was awful. I don't think he cracked the top 10. 16th, Daniel Suarez. Decent run for him. 17th, Eric Almirola. 18th, Ricky Stenhouse. 19th, Ty Dillon. A top 20 for Gaunt Brothers. Good for them. 20th, Ryan Newman. 21st, Chase Elliott. Spun late in the race. He dominated this race. Led 40-something laps. Won the first stage. Was in the top 5 most of the day. But a dumb caution and some pit strategy ends up screwing him at the end. So, cool. If you're a Chase Elliott fan, you're probably mad. But this race is evidence that NASCAR does not rig races for Chase Elliott. There you go. 22nd, Anthony Alfredo. 23rd, James Davison. 24th, Justin Haley. 25th, Cody Ware. Good runs for them. 26th, Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace had some problems there at the end. Had a tire rub. Had to pit. 27th, Garrett Smithley. 28th, Scott Heckert. 29th, Timmy Hill. 30th, Kyle Larson. Wrecked late in this race. Was running top 5. And as I said, slid into the tire barrier. 31st, Corey LaJoie. 32nd, Chase Briscoe. His hood flew up into his face, and he kept on driving it, but NASCAR black flagged him, and he finishes 32nd. 33rd, William Byron. I don't know what happened to him. 34th, Austin Dillon. I don't know what happened to him either. I think he had a tire rub. 35th, Kyle Busch. Day started off awful. Got some right side damage early in this race, right front. And, he had to pit. He was in the 30s. He had to rally back up into the 20s. And then he was in the top 10, top 5 for a bit. And then he got wrecked at the end of the race. No caution for it. And he finishes 35th, 1 lap down. Disappointing day for them. 36th, Josh Bilicki. 37th, Matt DiBenedetto. Had some damage early and had brake problems late. Bad day for them. 38th, Tyler Reddick. 39th, Ross Chastain. 40th, Quinn Houff. Reddick had engine problems and was in a wreck. Chastain got dumped by Blaney, and Quinn Houff had motor issues, I think. But what a stupid race, especially the end. I mean, The racing itself was really good throughout the race, throughout the field. You know, it's cool to see drivers actually drive the cars, like, on the racetrack. It's really cool to see that, see them make mistakes. But the end was so stupid. The dumb caution for the rain and, you know, just some of the spins and wrecks there at the end, that just really just upset me because it was just so stupid. I mean, I keep on using that word, stupid. It was a stupid ending. But it was great. It was really cool to see Christopher Bell hunt down Joey Logano in a great little battle there. So really cool story. That definitely helped at the end. But yeah, I'd say it was better than last week's race, so I'm going to give it a 7.3 out of 10. But other than that, I mean, as I said, just kind of a stupid race at the end especially, but good racing throughout. Next week, we've got Homestead Miami Speedway. NASCAR stays in Florida. They will be going down south, though, this time rather than staying at Daytona. Should be a decent race, even with the package we've had. We had a good race last year. I think after that is when we do like the West Coast swing or something, going to Las Vegas and Phoenix and that. But will we get another first-time winner next week? I don't know. Will we? I really don't know. It should be a fun race next week. It was a fun race for the most part this week. 2021 off to a crazy start with first-time winners, and man, it might be a weird season.